Okay, recording this video after close of trade Tuesday, 3rd of May 2011. Hope you had a good day trading today. I had a one shot, one kill day, which is always nice, and makes up for a little bit of yesterday. Anyway, in terms of the charts, 1.4 million contracts traded. This cyclical resistance level is kind of playing out, and we've also got that confirmed. This is the at ES.D, just the day session I've been showing you over the last few days, and now the at ES chart, which is the day and the night session, has that cyclical level printed. As I keep on saying, this is second cyclical turn after end of trend, so in my analysis that's pretty significant for a turning point. So I'm going to be looking for a lot more kind of downside energy. However, after today's activity, I think we're going to get a little bit of a bounce. Just back to the silver chart, just because it's interesting what happened over the last day or so. So we've now gone from just about touching 50 to just about touching 40 in the space of like 3 days. Scary if you're trading silver for a 20% move like that to decide what to do. Cyclical cross still has to come in, so I think the pullback's going to be some time away at least, and let's see kind of how many people get freaked out of this trade. What's always interesting with moves like this, you see all these kind of blue professional bars kind of up here, kind of coming into the 50 kind of mark. Well, there's a lot of volume that went through at that point, and so all of those people that were buying $40 plus are sitting on either losses or potential losses, so they start to decide what to do. So that'll decide where this market, what happens with this market, whether they kind of sit on their hands and decide to hold, or panic out and kind of push it even further. But interesting. In terms of the long-term chart, the 40,500 tip bar chart, we've come into a pullback in an uptrend level here. We've also got a bullish divergence signal here. No blue professional bars kind of come in at this level, so but I think it's likely to hold. This level of kind of selling that we got, I mentioned it yesterday, was pretty extreme. So with a bullish divergence kind of pattern down here with the lows that we made today, I think we could get a little bit of a bounce from here. If you go down to the 13,500 tip bar chart, we've kind of come below this cyclical support area here, and you can see the pattern that we kind of made. First of all, we kind of sell off. We make a whole series of bullish divergence patterns where the move slows, and then we make a final push down, flushing out. This is a flush signal here, flushing out the sellers at that point, bang, and that's kind of usually a good place to see a rally start to build. But again, no blue professional bars kind of coming in at the lows here, and I'll show you on the day trading charts how no blue professional bars at the lows was a really important signal today. But you'll often see this signal, often waiting for this kind of flush activity, whether the better momentum kind of signals a flush pattern, or you see a pattern like this where you kind of see bullish divergence, whole series of bullish divergence signals, and then a final kind of push down. So for me, I think we're going to see a little bit of strength kind of coming into the market tomorrow. Day trading wise, let me go to the 4,500 tip bar chart first. We kind of, after having trend moves yesterday with our end of trend signal, with yesterday's activity, today we were playing far more of the ranges, batting backwards and forwards between cyclical highs and lows. But this is this kind of point here, talking about we get exhaustion selling on the downside, in this case setting the move off. We get a whole series of bullish divergence signals here, slowing the move down, and then it's not till we get some kind of exhaustion selling on the downside here, in this case this was kind of an exhaustion selling signal, that we see the end of that selling activity. And for me, I was playing this short trade at this cyclical turning point on the 4,500 tip bar chart. I showed it on the lower time frames as well. Blue professional bar coming into a cyclical turn. It was fairly weak in terms of buying that we'd had. Maybe about the same amount of buying that we'd had into previous turning points here. The lower time frames kind of signal quite nicely, but coming into the lows here, I took profits at 52.25. Close-ish to the low here, but you can see no blue professional bars coming in at that low. In fact, it was a Rambo pattern, and so we headed back up to a cyclical turning point. This one had bearish divergence, set off on the downside, but this move down into the 40s and the low of the day was not over until we saw these blue professional bars kind of coming in at the lows. You have to wait for the professionals for the move to really be signaled and over. So because they hadn't come in at this turning point, I was actually saying during the video that I didn't think the low was in for the day, and it wasn't. It kind of came later on. This was actually a beautiful setup. I was in bed at the time, but let me just show you on the 1500 tip bar chart. So coming into this first turning point, you can see blue professional bars, rainbow pattern with amateurs at the top here, and the market kind of sells off, and we come into all of these amateur bars kind of down at the bottom, so the rainbow patterns and so on, but no blue professional bars, and then we come back into that turning point again at 57, same pattern again, blue professional bars, cyclical turning point, bearish divergence, amateurs kind of trying to buy a little bit of a breakout, and we just fall off. And then on the 1500 chart, the low of the day and the low of this move was really nicely marked with an end of trend warning signal, and you can see here are the blue professional bars kind of coming in a couple of times here, and then right at the bottom here with after our exhaustion selling, bullish divergence, end of trend. I mean, this is a beautiful little signal. This is kind of like I don't know what you call a quintella, something like that. So we got kind of exhaustion selling, bullish divergence. The exhaustion selling marks this kind of shoulder pattern on the way down. The pullback and the end of trend marks the end of that trending signal. And just these are non-correlated indicators. So better momentum is just using the volume activity, and better sine wave is just using the price activity. And they're showing you exactly the same thing. They're showing you kind of exhaustion in price and exhaustion in terms of volume. And momentum of volume. So, you know, when you get kind of confirmations like this, they work out quite nicely, and it even works kind of lower time frames. So you go to the 500 tip bar time frame. So the first turning point here, you could see coming into this signal where I went short at 56.25, exhaustion selling, all the blue professional bars. The first time we move up into this level, a rainbow pattern being led by the amateurs. All the blue professional bars that come in with the professionals here, bearish divergence, exhaustion selling. Final little push up with a rainbow pattern up here to 57, bang, and then we, take off to the downside. A little bit of a test back here. Professionals getting short, amateurs, trying to buy the breakout. Bearish divergence right on the zero line here, bang, we kind of move to the downside. So I was out at 52, kind of down here. Did get a blue professional bar here on the 500 tip bar chart, but as I said, on the other time frames, wasn't convincing in terms of professional activity. The second turning point was really nice, so kind of end of trend warning signal here. We'd had our exhaustion buying, we had all of these bearish divergence patterns coming into this high. You can see all these blue professional bars kind of coming up to the end of trend warning signal here, and market just kind of dives. So there you go. Anyway, so I think we're going to get a little bit of a bounce, as I said, tomorrow. But overall, I just think the energy is now kind of shifted to the downside. It's interesting how bonds had a little bit of stopping volume activity. So again, the move in bonds might just slow kind of temporarily for a day or two as we maybe have a retrace back into the 60s and possibly high 60s here. Although the dollar index was kind of a little bit stationary today, in terms of some of the higher beta type currencies, for example, the Aussie dollar took a little bit of a battering overnight. So, the dollar index is showing signs of starting to strengthen a bit. So, I think we're starting to see a kind of a change in mood of this risk trade. So anyway, there we go. Hope your trading went well, and I'll just tag on my day trades for today. It's got short at 56.25. It's just gone 9:03 a.m. and had quite wild swings in the market kind of so far today. But as usual, the 1500 tip bar chart with professional bars kind of showed the way. Just a question of following these signals. So we kind of overbought here. Professional bar at the top, kind of go down. Oversold here, caught by cyclical support, professional bar at the low. Now we kind of head back up. We're going to have a cyclical turn on 1500 tip bar chart and blue professional bar at the top here. You can see on the 500 tip bar chart we've had kind of big blow off volume. The rise up from 52 was started to really accelerate here when we kind of broke 54. Come into a whole series of blue professional bars up here, rainbow pattern coming into the highs. Just had bearish divergence, so exhaustion buying, bearish divergence on the 500 tip bar chart. So, and we've got a cyclical downturn to come in the 4500 tip bar chart. Well, here we go, professional blue bar just coming at the highs on the 4500 tip bar chart. So I'm playing effectively, if I just look at the 4500 tip bar chart. Yeah, we've had this exhaustion selling on the 45 and coming into the lows into the 50s down here. We had all of these bullish divergence signals kind of slowing this move. But what I'm expecting to see is a blow-off move kind of to the downside with a flush signal on the downside to signal the real low. So all I'm playing here is kind of an expectation that basically the amateurs have got into this up move too early, so the professionals kind of step in and then push it back down. So we need to kind of break the lows overnight with something like in the 50s, just at 50s. So that's what I'm playing, kind of a breakdown to the lows overnight. See where it goes. Hopefully we should drop into a little bit of downtrend now. Had a little bit push back up to 57.25 here. You can see there's a Rambo pattern amateur up bar here, same thing on the 1500 tip bar chart. And we just come into a little bit of cyclical support on the 500 tip bar at 55. So just waiting for us to kind of close below that hopefully, and we'll kind of just fall into a bit of a downtrend at that point, in which case the target is end of pullback and end of trend on the 500, cyclical turn on the 1500 or cyclical turn on the 45, something like that. So it's kind of going my way, but just hasn't kind of started to accelerate yet, but let's just wait and see. A few minutes later, interesting kind of just retrace happened here. First of all, we came into 54.5 here, little Rambo pattern followed by a professional bar. We just spiked up back up to 56. More blue professional bars coming in at 56. We've broken the lows of those. See it on the 1500 tip bar chart. It looks like a amateur bar kind of going down, and we kind of bounce off that because the amateurs are leading that, and then the amateurs kind of start getting long at 56, and we kind of do the opposite of that, and so we head back down. So now we're at 54. Interesting, we've broken below a cyclical support on the 1500 tip bar chart. That could mean this could turn into a fairly big move. We're at cyclical support on the 500, so if we kind of break this with any force, we'll start to head down quite quickly. Still got cyclical turn on the 45 going the right direction. So it's coming good. Just need it to break this 54 and get into a downtrend so we can get some trend moves going. Okay, we just started to kind of get going on the downside here. Got my target at 52.25. Be nice to be taken out at that. But should be waiting for blue professional bars on the 1500 tip bar chart. The low for the day was 52 even. So we're likely to see some type of support kind of coming in at that level. So let's see what happens. Go just out at 52.25 for 4. Probably a little bit early to be out because we've got no blue professional bars coming on the 1500 tip bar chart. But that's fine. What is it? 941. So it's a one shot, one kill day, which is good. 4 points. Rambo pattern's kind of coming into the lows here. We've just broken below cyclical support on the 500, so this move kind of might go a little bit further. But anyway, happy to be out. Blue professional bars kind of coming in here. Happy to be out at this point, so just watch it for a while and see if anything sets up, but that probably is me done for the day.